Did you put your dreams on a shelf and then forget about them? Now you're retired and those dreams are still sitting up there on that shelf collecting dust. If that's you, then watch this video because I'm going to show you the one key component that will help you to make those dreams come true, even in retirement. I want to show you it's never too late and you're never too old to reach for those dreams and make them come true. The first thing you need to do is get that box back off the shelf, dust it off, and open it up. Look in that box and see what those dreams were. Think about, why did you want to do that? What went wrong? And what stopped you from pursuing those dreams? Sometimes it's just life itself. We don't have time to pursue those dreams that we have when we're young. And then we put them on that shelf and forget about them. And then once you're retired, you start thinking, it's too late now to pursue those dreams. I missed the boat on that one. I was 20 years old when I married my husband of age 22, and I married the opposites attract. I was a chronically insecure, shy person who was afraid to ever speak her mind. And my husband was outgoing, outspoken, stood his ground. He was all the things that I admired in life and wished that I could be. And so when we were married, he started talking about he wanted to pursue his dream of going to Australia. I had no desire to go to Australia. Yeah, it'd be fun for vacation, but not to move there. And I just didn't know how to speak my mind and say, I don't want to go. It's too far from family. So I went along with his plan. We loaded up our deflated waterbed and our clothes and put them in the back of our little Toyota Corolla. And we headed off to San Francisco to the Australian consulate to pursue his dreams of going to Australia. And as we were getting closer to San Francisco, he said, let's do a little bit of sightseeing before we go. And I thought, yeah, I'm okay with that. I was in no hurry to go to Australia. So we did a little sightseeing and we ended up in San Jose, California. And my husband was a district manager for a fast food restaurant chain. And so we drove by this brand new building that had a huge sign in the window and it said, now hiring. So he looked at that and he said, let's check it out. So I said, sure, let's do that. So we pulled in the parking lot and he went in to check out this job. I slunk down in the seat and just kind of absorbed that warm sunshine and I dozed off. About an hour later, I heard the car door open and it woke me up and he said, we need to find a place to live. They just hired me as manager. Whoa, change of plans. I was okay with that. Long story short, we did find a place to live and he became the manager of the new A&W restaurant that was about to open. At the time, it didn't even cross my mind. But many, many years later, I thought back about that event and I thought, what were we thinking? We had just bought a brand new little Toyota Corolla. We'd only had it maybe 6 months. What were we going to do with that car? We didn't even have passports. How were we going to get there? And even more so, I don't think we had the money to buy plane tickets to Australia. What were we thinking? Needless to say, he never mentioned the idea of going to Australia again, ever in our 21 years of marriage. And I never brought up the subject to him again either because it was not something I wanted to do. I'm sharing that story because I want to show you that We had an idea, but we didn't have a plan. Without a plan, a goal is just an idea. To accomplish those dreams, we need to have a plan. Without a plan, your dreams will never materialize. And then we think after we retire, we're too old to pursue those dreams. It's too late to do that. But that's not the case. Think about all the people who had a dream of going to college and they were too busy when they were young and they didn't get to do that. And in their 80s or so, they go back to college and get their college degree. And you might think, well, what does that degree do for them at 80 years old? I've always been one that said, education is never wasted. We use it in our everyday life, no matter what that education is. And I don't know what your dream was, but don't let it just sit there on that shelf. Get it back off the shelf, dust it off, open it up, revisit those dreams. Is it something you can do now that you have the time, now that maybe you have the wherewithal to be able to afford it financially? Make a plan. After you pull that box back off the shelf and you open it up, if you decide you really don't have an interest in those dreams any longer, then you can toss that box away. But don't give up on setting new goals, new things you would like to do in your retirement years. Remember, you are never too old, and it's never too late to dream new dreams, set new goals, challenge yourself to learn something new all the time. I try to do that in my life. And that's what I'm doing on this YouTube channel. I'm challenging myself to do something new that I hadn't done in my life before. And you can do that too. Make a plan to make those old dreams come true, or start setting new goals and challenging yourself. Start living your best life in retirement. Comment below if you have had dreams sitting on your shelf for years and years. Are you ready to dust off that box? Are you ready to set new goals? I'm Esther. Hit that subscribe button down below and follow along if you would like to hear more tips, stories, and information about living your best life in retirement.